empowering Uganda.
Welcome back from that census dialogue. My name is Patricia Lokomampango, and I'm glad you're still tuned on to UBC TV. And of course, we also have Mogalu Mohammed there on sign language. Now, as we delve into the bulletin, President Museveni has met officials from Nile Breweries Limited at his Kisuzi farm, led by the company board chair Anapito Ekomoloid. Now, during the meeting, the president and the officials discussed issues ranging from alcohol, health precautions to taxation and the expansion of locally based raw materials in the production of alcohol. President Museveni underscored the importance of implementing robust health precautions while fostering an environment conducive to economic growth in the brewing industry. Now, the Prime Minister of Uganda, Right Honorable Robina Nabbanja, Friday commissioned Mone Primary School and Lwampanga Health Center 3 in Nakasongola District. The two projects have cost government close to 2 billion shillings and have been undertaken by UPDF Engineering Brigade. In Nakasongola, Premier Nabbanja was accompanied by Ministers Muruli Mokasa and Peter Ogwang, as we hear more in this report.
Of the Prime Minister here at one.
Prime Minister of Uganda, Right Honorable Robina Nabbanja Musafiri, Friday 5th April 2024, has been in Nakasongola District to inspect key government projects.
On behalf of government, the President of the Republic of Uganda, allow me to unveil and commission Lwampanga Health Center.
At Lwampanga Town Council, the Premier commissioned the Lwampanga Health Center 3.
Lwampanga Health Center 3 was constructed by UPDF Engineers Brigade, and I am the one who has commissioned it, and it was constructed by the Office of the Prime Minister. Let me take the honor on behalf of the President, the Government of the Republic of Uganda, to commission Lwampanga Health Center 3, which was constructed by the Office of the Prime Minister.
The former facility was submerged in 2018, and since then it has been out of use.
Lwampanga Health Center 3 was submerged by water. Mone Primary School was also submerged by water.
However, the Office of the Prime Minister stepped in to relocate and construct a new home.
Elirungi bweliti atenga lipya. Ebalenye omusajja oyo Katonda yamuleeta abagamba agende temuwakanya Katonda mulinde Mukama lwali mutwala.
Njiragidde ebitanda yaddenga njogedde mpola yakitegedde. Ebitanda baleete ebipya nabiri ebikadde bibeerewo tutandike naye bajje baleete ebipya batereze ebisigadde.
Commissioning of this health facility offers relief to the beneficiary communities.
This health facility is going to help our people to get nearby services, because in the absence of this one, they have been getting services from Nakasonga Center 4, which is a number of kilometers from here.
Preventable, communicable diseases shouldn't really make us sick. A human being is supposed to singamain amikolo gino mutandike kukola gumugumu ndozi nanywe nyumirwe.
The commissioning event attracted both locals and leaders from Nakasongola district.
Jagara kusima abantu bano naye chemba saba kintu kimu ebizibu bino bwe tubibakwasiza tetwagala kudda mu myezi 5 tetusanga nga byona amabati nga mugabye.
However, to some leaders here, they believe more can still be done.
That in Nakasongola as a district, we don't have a district hospital. It is important to note that the government of Uganda has to take a responsibility of considering Nakasongola Center 4 to be elevated to a district hospital status.
The PM also commissioned Mone Primary School in Inabishwera sub-county, which has also been rehabilitated by her office under the disaster management program.
We will continue to implement our programs in education sector. But, Right Honorable Prime Minister, in a special way, we want to thank the President for thinking and bringing in the UPDF. Can we clap for the UPDF as our national army? Before you are aware, the cost of construction of these projects vis-a-vis the quality of work was extremely bad.
The two infrastructure developments have been undertaken by UPDF Engineers Brigade.
The Office of the Prime Minister has been receiving money to help every area that has got disasters. And so, the money that we were supposed to use to buy tarpaulins, to buy posho, the one for posho we did not touch, to buy bed nets, cups, jerrycans, and everything was totaling 5 billion. So we used 5 billion to construct this school. I'm told this school costed us 700 million. The same amount of money we used to construct Wampanga, which I've already commissioned, Health Center 3, because it also submerged. We used 1 billion. We just, reallocated that money that was being wasted to buy police, water.
Robert Nyango, UBC News.
The Ministry of Health Permanent Secretary Dr. Diana Atwine has revealed a decrease of under 5 mortality in the country, saying that it is because the ministry has greatly prioritized vaccinations. She said this at a launch of a yellow fever vaccination campaign in 4 districts of Greater Mukono.
This fever is yellow fever, causing people to release yellow urine. This fever is another.
The official launch was at Meta Grounds as hundreds of school-going children turned up to be vaccinated. However, Kayunga District RDC Dumba Moses reported that some schools are denying health workers access to schools in his district.
Some pockets of resistance, and you may wonder, these pockets of resistance are within some of the schools. These schools are listed and have sent some of them to the relevant offices to have a better, to be dealt with in a better way and handled.
Speaking at the launch, the World Health Organization representative to Uganda, Dr. Jonas Tegen, urged all stakeholders to push this campaign to success.
I have to be honest that I have been surprised and a bit disappointed at that I did not see many adults in the people waiting to be vaccinated at this vaccination. And this vaccination is not only for children, but also for adults. I hope over the following days we will reach them and ensure that our population has 80% coverage. The good thing about yellow fever is you only need it once and it protects you for life. Finally, I would like to remind parents, caregivers, and all Ugandans that the yellow fever vaccine is safe, effective, and free. This vaccine has been approved by the Ministry of Health and WHO and supplied by UNICEF. One injection of yellow fever vaccine offers lifelong protection and long-term immunity.
Permanent Secretary, Minister of Health, Dr. Diana Atwine, saying that the ministry has consistently prioritized vaccination, therefore reducing rate of under 5 mortality.
If we do not prioritize vaccination, we are going to see more people getting sick, coming to our facilities, stressing the parents. The children are always sick, dropping out of school, and the families are still suffering because they are still spending, even when we provide free care.
The Minister for Health, Dr. Jane Ruth Acheng, urged Ugandans to fully participate in the vaccination campaign, saying that Uganda wants to be yellow fever free by 2026.
With your vaccine, you are protected for life. Isn't it a good thing? Yeah. And if you want to travel to any country, you will have your card. Your cards will be brought. In future, when you want to travel, you will just travel freely, because no country will fear a traveler from Uganda because you have been vaccinated and you are protected for yellow fever.
Acheng also highlighted the importance of the yellow fever vaccines.
Population has been urged to embrace the ongoing mass yellow fever vaccination. The Director of Public Health at the Ministry of Health, Dr. Daniel Chabayinze, described yellow fever as a life-threatening disease.
Government is currently carrying out mass vaccination against yellow fever for both adults and children. UBC sought an expert explanation about the severity of yellow fever.
Of the people who fall sick when they are bitten by that mosquito which has the virus and you fall sick, some people the disease can heal, but about 1 in every 3 people will progress to a severe disease and they will die. So it kills. Survival is very minimal for those proportion of people who get the severe disease if it's not self-limited.
Yellow fever is a viral disease transmitted by an infected mosquito, and it mostly affects the liver, the reason why it presents with yellowing of the eyes.
There are many types of mosquitoes. People are used to the female Anopheles mosquito, which transmits the malaria, but for the one which transmits yellow fever is called Aedes, A-E-D-S, Aedes mosquito. This mosquito is very common in so many forested areas in Uganda. So it's very abundant. It's a matter of somebody getting the infection, or it picks the infection from the wild animals like the chimpanzees, like the monkeys, and then transmit the disease to the human.
There is no specific treatment for yellow fever, and people who fall sick are given supportive treatment with vaccination highly recommended.
But there is a vaccine which prevents. So we have to maximize our approach to making sure we prevent, and the most effective prevention is not only avoiding mosquitoes, which we can't almost do in this setting, but we can prevent using a vaccine.
According to the Ministry of Health, Uganda has had 8 outbreaks of yellow fever from 1952. Adia Nakute, UBC.
Now, there is need for African countries to be empowered economically and to address the prolonged challenge of corruption in order for them to break free from Western dependence culture. Now, there are some of the views from human rights activists and legal minds following the Constitutional Court decision on the Anti-Homosexuality Act. There have also been mixed reactions from the public, including those from Western countries who blamed Uganda for passing the law.
On Tuesday this week, 5 justices of the Constitutional Court declined to nullify the Anti-Homosexuality Act of 2023 on grounds that the law was created to protect children and vulnerable people from the acts of homosexuality and to observe the norms, culture, values and religion of the country, among others. The decision has sparked mixed reactions from the public, including the West.
It is time for Uganda to be let alone to manage or mismanage its affairs. The legislature is composed of the representatives of the people. If that's what the people of Uganda want, let it be.
The Constitutional Court really had an opportunity to nullify this law in its entirety, because the law fundamentally violates the rights of a section of people in this country, more especially the rights to dignity, the right to privacy, the rights to equality and non-discrimination.
The decision, based on the 16 grounds which were affirmed by the petitioners and the respondents, justices of the Constitutional Court nullified 4 sections from the Act out of the 17 sections. The nullified sections include 3 to C, 9, 11 to B, and 14, which highlight issues concerning health, privacy, and adequate standards of living.
That whereas we may want to criminalize certain things, we may not stop people from existing. And this has challenges for other rights in the country. Today it may be gays, but tomorrow it will come to rights of women. Tomorrow it will come to rights of the Batua. Tomorrow it will come to rights of different people. And then we say, no, what the majority decides is what goes.
Basing their decision on the need to observe the norms, culture and religion, which can't allow activities of gay community in the country, justices had to dismiss the petition.
The Constitution recognizes that we Ugandans, we have our cultures, we have our way of life, and such norms which are believed in by our societies must be upheld by the judiciary.
The question, obviously, is what are our values as a country? Like, where are our values written? We were looking at the rule of law. We're looking at good governance. We are looking at human respect for human rights. So when you tell me of other values which are not written there in the Constitution, what are these values and where do they come from?
Nalukola, however, adds that with the existence of the law against LGBTQ community in the African countries, including Uganda, this shows the stand for the African countries.
Ugandans must tighten their belts. They should stop being beggars and borrowers. Therefore, the taxpayer should make sure that he or she is ready to pay taxes. And the thieves in government should stop taking money which is collected through taxes.
However, Dr. Adrian Juko, a law lecturer at Makerere University, has a divergent view over this issue.
By the court saying we are going to discriminate against gay people, they're not entitled to equality and discrimination and non-discrimination. At the same time, they are saying these people are entitled to the right to health. This is an oxymoron. It's a contradiction in terms. But if you remain criminalizing, you are promoting stigma and discrimination among the groups. So you've not dealt with the main issue of discrimination.
With the remaining sections in the Act, one may ask whether they are still fit to serve its purpose as aimed by the Parliament.
Other provisions can be enforced.
And now, whether you make the law better, whether you call it homosexuality, whether you call it whatever name you want to give it, it won't change the fact that you won't get evidence because these are consenting adults.
Therefore, the consequences of that decision are far-reaching if we want to remain beggars in the European world.
Dr. Adrian Duke is also of the view that the Constitutional Court justices erred in laying their judgment.
Uganda has obligations. Human rights imposes obligations on people. The obligation to respect, the obligation to protect, the obligation to protect human beings, to respect and to fulfill, require that the state has to do its duty as regards protecting everyone, including those who are marginalized. the Constitutional Court failed in this duty, and therefore they are complicit together with the Parliament in terms of violating the rights of LGBT people.
Since the Uganda's moved to enact the Anti-Homosexuality Act, a number of sanctions have been slapped on her and some highly placed government officials.
It's a choice the government has taken that we are going to pass this law regardless of your money. They should not say that the other people are at fault for putting conditions for their money. It's their money.
If Africa is to enjoy total independence, it should empower itself economically. But that comes with a huge price. We must devise means of utilizing our natural resources to stop that tendency of being beggars and borrowers.
Deborah Namamonde, UBC News.
We should stop being beggars. Now, the arts and creatives industry has been commended for its tremendous work done in employing Ugandans, a thing which has seen a curb in the unemployment rates among the youth. These remarks were made by the Gender Minister Betty Amonge during the inauguration of the new Board of Trustees members of the Uganda National Cultural Center in Kampala.
Uganda National Culture Center, UNCC, is a statutory and a semi-autonomous body established by the UNCC Act of Parliament of 1959 and amended in 1965. The center aims to preserve, promote, popularize and develop Uganda's art and culture through various activities and implementation of relevant national policies. The UNCC is also a responsibility of an 8-member Board of Trustees, which is appointed by the Minister of Gender, Labour and Social Development. However, for the past 1 year, the center has been operating without a Board of Trustees. Friday morning, the UNCC new Board of Trustees that was appointed last month has been inaugurated and sworn in by the Chief Magistrate of Uganda Road Court, Ronald Kaize.
Chairperson of the Uganda National Cultural Center Board of Trustees, swear in the name of the Almighty God.
These include Professor Pio Mukaka as the chairperson, Fina Mugera Vice Chairperson, Moses Sali, aka Bebe Cool, as a member, and Bujingo Hannington, among others. Minister for Gender, Labour and Social Development Betty Amonge graced the function. She commended the art and creatives industry for playing a big role in curbing unemployment, especially among the youth in the country.
Like, how many people do you employ? Because I see you people when you're moving, people are with those who are on social media, those who are in this. So one individual alone walking out of his or her room is already employing maybe a minimum of 5 people, earning a living from one artist. Then the chain is bigger. Those who are in the studio, those who are screenwriters, those who are promoters.
Amonge, however, urged the new board of UNCC to up their game in uniting the industry across the country and the world at large.
The food of Uganda, then I saw documentaries of where the beauty of Uganda. Culture is able to sell a country in a powerful way. So it is you to be steadfast and use this board to ensure that we achieve what we want.
The Executive Director UNCC, Francis Ojede, warmly received the trustees and tasked them to address the financial challenges that have hindered service delivery.
To come and help us focus on the issue of financing, to try and make sure that the sector and the council is well financed.
The new chairperson of the Board of Trustees of UNCC, Opio Mukaka, pledged on behalf of his board total commitment to serve the country for social and economic development.
Culture is everything and is in everything. We will advocate for the upgrading of UNCC into a regulatory body as well to provide effective operational linkages with other institutions.
The previous Board of Trustees of UNCC, appointed in 2019, included Sam Okelo as chairperson, Sisimbaba as the vice chairperson, and Wilson Ashawere as a member, among others. Rebecca Natongo, Susan Inabugudde, UBC News.
Now let's get into the happenings of USMID, where the objectives of the Uganda support to municipal infrastructure development have been met in Jinja, Kamuli and Lugazi areas of Busoga and East Buganda sub-regions. This follows successful construction and upgrading of roads and drainage systems for improved movement of persons and goods, as well as the flow of water.
It is said to be one of the best planned cities in Eastern and Central Africa. Yet, its physical infrastructure had gone to the dogs, whose awakening took a World Bank-funded project dubbed USMID. The upgrading of roads and drainage channels in Jinja has seen the generosity extended to Lugazi and Kamuli municipalities. It is a gateway to the western part of Kenya, one of the country's cross-border business partner states. This makes Jinja one of the most important cities whose economic capacity is worth reviving and consolidating. This is what the Uganda support to municipal infrastructure development has been doing.
Well, before we became a city, Jinja had about 215 kilometers of roads that were in dire need of reconstruction. And now that we became a city and having annexed a couple of sub-counties onto the former municipality to become a city, we now have about 513 kilometers of roads to look after and probably be able to reconstruct. So we obviously needed to reconstruct our infrastructure in terms of roads, the drainage, and many of these other infrastructures that we had as a city.
Roads like Engineer Zikusoka Way has seen 2.03 kilometers worked on, 0.3 kilometers on the main street, and Busoga Road has been upgraded up to 0.33 kilometers, totaling to 2.66 kilometers in Jinja City. All this happening thanks to what is commonly known as USMID additional funding projects.
Before 2014, by around 8, the entire city was empty. You could not find people in town. And you can see that there are bigger investments coming in. Today when you want to find nice bars, they are coming up. And people are coming from Kampala to enjoy that habeas during. You know, with the waters and the bridge, it is bringing it is attracting more people to come here. So that is the Jinja now I'm talking about. Jinja is so different from other areas. Because if someone is coming from wherever they are coming to Jinja to see the source of the Nile, they are not coming to Jinja alone. They are coming to Jinja, they are coming to Uganda, and they are coming to Africa.
We have done Clive Road East. We have done completed Busoga Avenue, which houses the Presidential Lodge, and we have also been able to increase on drainage, which were additional works in this last phase that we have done.
It is not only Bernard Mbayo, the Speaker of Jinja City Assembly and the Mayor of Jinja City, that have seen this milestone. The rest of the population has observed improved infrastructure in Uganda's second largest city.
Nti niwe dibasa mukaga musanvu street eriku badikoze bulungi sobola okutambula sadona demba nenze olwokuba street eriku.
Business yandibadde nnungi olw'ensonga nti abantu bakola okuva ku makya paka nga ssaawa 4-5 aba basobola okukola kwezo ssaawa.
Kyesinga otambuza mu kibuga so abasaabaze
ni ku bazungu baidde abalambuzi baife bona tubatambuzzaamu ku aye kyenda tubatambuze mu nguudo ennungi etaidde abiina.
In trying to establish the extent to which this project has changed other places, we seek to explore progress in Kamuli Municipality. We drive approximately 60 kilometers from the central business district of Jinja. Our arrival in Kamuli Municipal area is welcomed by a sparkling outlook. In all manners of description, it is worth the optical nutrition. We meet Kagabo Dennis, the Deputy Mayor of the Municipal Council. Talking about the achievements of USMID is just worth his time.
I want to comfortably tell you that we have the roads, tarmac roads, fully lit, and the others are pending. They are at 90% completion. We are going to put the lights, so we shall have a lit town.
To him, failure to give credit to USMID is tantamount to encouraging mediocrity.
In total, we have 6.5 kilometers. They are at 90% completion. We are just waiting for light installation. They are working on walkways, and in a few weeks they will be done. We shall be done with our roads.
This similar positivity is shared by both the people and leaders of Lugazi municipality.
Because at first we have been working through bad roads, and our people are getting problem of transporting their goods and their business, whatever. But now, at least, we are seeing some changes.
They demand for more, something which cuts across the entire USMID cluster of Jinja.
Now we obviously understand that in the next phase, USMID has taken a decision, or Parliament has taken a decision, that we must now focus on the 10 cities that were formulated in 2020 or approved by Parliament in 2020. So that is where we are, and we expect to do 18 kilometers.
The people of Kamuli are very much excited about this development. And it is our humble prayer to USMID that as we have applied for the 15 kilometers, we be granted. We do a lot more for the people of Kamuli.
These are concerns that government is aware of, hence the quest to have the project additionally funded. Successful bidding will see the next phase run from 2025 to 2030. Henry Okrut, UBC.
Thank you very much, Henry Okrut. Now, the Rwandan High Commission in Uganda is set to hold a series of events aimed at commemorating the genocide against the Tutsi. Addressing the press in Kampala, Rwanda's High Commissioner to Uganda, His Excellency Joseph Rutabana, highlighted that this year's event will be an opportune time for Rwandans to face the past and prevent the intergenerational transmission of traumas through dialogue and remembrance.
It's now 30 years since the horrendous killings of the Tutsi in Rwanda. A bloodbath that saw over 1 million people lose their lives as a result of hateful propaganda. Over the years, Rwanda has witnessed many reconciliation initiatives aimed at healing the bad past. In Uganda, the Rwandan High Commission is set to hold a series of events to mark the 30th Kwibuka anniversary.
Every year, the government and people of Rwanda, together with the international community, do commemorate the genocide against the Tutsi in Rwanda on April 7, and a mourning period of 100 days is respected in Rwanda from April 7 up to July 3rd.
According to the High Commission, these events will present an opportune moment to reflect on the transformational journey that Rwanda has undergone for the last 30 years.
Kwibuka 30 is especially an opportunity for every Rwandan to face the past and prevent intergenerational transmission of traumas through dialogue and remembrance. The preservation of memory is pivotal in shaping a cohesive and forward-looking nation.
Whilst the event happened in 1994, Rwanda has made a deliberate decision to move on by facing the past, reuniting as one, and committing to never let the events that led to the genocide happen again. Sharon Tomdisha, Samuel Senneno, UBC News.
Fred!
Osmosis.
Freddy! Fred Dollar, my boss, CEO Inojo, the general of generals, the conqueror of conquerors, the first and the final, the sky above the skies, the promised land, the terms and the conditions, the international king crocodile, the source of the Nile.
I don't have money today.
Just take a polite loan of 200k to stock my shop. The signs and symptoms of success. The bank commander, not the bank teller.
Why hassle for a loan when you've got MTN Momo? We're sorting. Use the Momo app or dial *165*5# for all quick loans. Choose from the different loan options from our partners and get one that works for you. Together, we're unstoppable.
The government of Uganda and the Uganda Bureau of Statistics is calling upon all stakeholders such as the chief administrative officers, city mayors, resident city commissioners, city clerks, city and division councillors, wards and LC chairpersons, as well as the residents and business communities to cooperate with the UBOS field teams as we embark on advanced preparations to conduct the National Population and Housing Census on the 10th of May 2024. The census will be a 10-day exercise to obtain statistical data and information that will be used for planning and policy formulation, including information on 1. How many we are, 2. Where we are, 3. How we are living, 4. What we own, and 5. Where we access services from. The Uganda Bureau of Statistics has now started listing of households and mapping in the 11 cities of Arua, Fort Portal, Gulu, Hoima, Jinja, Lira, Mbale, Masaka, Mbarara, Soroti, and in the Greater Kampala comprising of Kampala, Wakiso, and Mukono districts. For more information, please call 0755 342 128 or 0773 342 128. This message is brought to you by the Executive Director and Census Commissioner, Uganda Bureau of Statistics. Census 2024. It matters to be counted.
Are you planning or in the process of traveling abroad for work? Using irregular channels to find and travel for work abroad often seems cheaper and faster, but you risk being trafficked, mistreated, or forced to do work you did not agree to. Using proper channels is safer, offers more protection, and better access to support services when problems arise. Do not be deceived. Choose the proper channels. Always verify all information before traveling abroad for work by contacting the Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development, your local district labour office or discourse office. You can also visit EEMIS website on eemis.mglsd.go.ug. This message is brought to you by the International Labour Organization with support from the Government of Switzerland.
Welcome back from that short break. As we continue, 25 geoscientists from 11 African countries have trained in the field of geoscientific surveys and mapping to strengthen capacity to locate and to exploit mineral wealth in their respective countries.
Africa is endowed with minerals, although African countries need capacity to locate and exploit these minerals. There is a training as part of the European-funded effort to help Africa generate skills in the mineral sector. Minister for Karamoja Affairs, also former State Minister for Minerals, urged participants to commit in a culture of innovation and networking.
And this is an organization of all geologists in Africa. It is very nice indeed to share knowledge as Africans and brings the Africans together in many areas. In the future, it strengthens the geopolitical state of Africans.
Part of the wider training aimed at doing practical on the field is collecting data, share experiences to broaden career opportunities. So, the training will increase investment in the mineral sector to enhance capacity of the Department of Geological Mines and Surveys.
Participants have delved into the intricate world of geoscientific mapping, from mastering the fundamentals to navigating advanced techniques. This training session is also about fostering meaningful connections and partnerships.
The Permanent Secretary, Minister of Energy and Mineral Development, Engineer Irene Bateve, says since Africa is experiencing rush of foreign investors in the mineral sector, there is need to develop manpower that will develop the resources.
We are at a point where the global world is discussing aspects of the energy transition. And it's very critical that us, who are the planners, who are the geoscientists, are playing our roles to support our governments to be able to quantify these resources and therefore be able to develop them.
The government of Uganda wants all minerals to be processed for value addition before export. So this training attracted participants from Uganda, Tanzania, Rwanda, Eritrea, Ethiopia, Sudan, Zambia, Angola, Malawi, Botswana, Mozambique and Egypt. Aviana Francisco, UBC.
Thank you, Ahibiona. Makerere University staff have decided to suspend their strike following government promise to release funds aimed at harmonizing their salaries. Let's hear more from Sudat Kaye.
The decision was made during a General Assembly meeting specifically convened to address the issue of salary harmonization across Makerere University staff and other public universities in Uganda.
We want the employees of Makerere University on the same scales, earning the same money, being called the same titles with their counterparts in other public universities in Uganda. For example, we have been experiencing disparities in terms of payments.
A letter circulated during the meeting indicated that the necessary funds have been released and will be disbursed in the upcoming financial year.
We thank government that money has been released according to the letter from the public service dated yesterday, 3rd, that money is now available, and we hope the new financial year will come with smiles for our staff, because we expect everyone to earn the same amount of money with their counterparts in other public universities.
Makerere University has been allocated 12.6 billion Ugandan shillings to address salary discrepancies among its staff members.
You can find a cleaner, for example, an office attendant in Makerere earning 700 and in Chambogo earning 1.2, the lowest staff. And we are saying this 12.6 is going to help us bring everyone on the same board.
Yusuf Chiranda, Makerere University Secretary, urged all staff members to continue delivering their best in research and innovation to further the university's vision and goals.
We work so well, as we are now going to be motivated better. We will contribute to the development of this country. We will contribute to the achievement of the objectives of the National Development Plan. And every Ugandan will have a better welfare. And when the economy grows and more money is available also to government, it means more investments in the education sector, and other concerns of staff can also be met.
The suspension of the strike is a step towards resolving salary-related grievances and fostering a conducive working environment at universities. Sudat Kaye, UBC News.
And in the vocational category, Malaika Vocational and Business Institute has celebrated the graduation of its 2024 class, marking another milestone in its journey of empowering individuals through education and training.
Directors.
Since its establishment in 2010, Malaika Institute has dedicated itself to providing quality vocational education and training to aspiring individuals. The director, Malaika Vocational and Business Institute, Donna Masolo, says they have nurtured and guided countless students towards economic independence and societal engagement.
As you leave us, you must take a skill with you that make you excel on the market and beat competition, that can help you get started in life and can make you employable or able to start your own business. So the certificate is just a symbol, but what they have taken home more is what is in their brains and what is in their hands.
Ms. Masolo highlighted the mission of empowerment of individuals, leveraging their natural talents and desires to become economically independent.
So COVID-19 had an effect on the school, on the economy, and on the people that are practicing hands-on skills. We call them the talented artists. You know, those are the people that are driving the economy. Those are the people that are running the informal sector. So COVID-19 affected them, but they were able to bounce them because what they do is on big demand.
The Directorate of Industrial Training, Dr. Patrick Byakatonda, acknowledges the Institute has manifested beyond individual success to societal transformation.
The new curriculum is competency-based. In other words, it's hands on the machine. It prepares the people for the world of work. So these ones, their kind of training is industrial based. They are exposed on the machine. They are in the beauty industry from day one up to day 2.
Jennifer Mwijuche, the chair board of directors, said the institute has addressed challenges of unskilled women and youth, high unemployment rates and economic disparities.
We have so many institutions in Uganda, of course, and especially the universities that offer degrees and the rest. But we are realizing that it is equally and perhaps sometimes important for people to have skills. The hands-on skills is the way to go. And I don't want you to despise yourself or feel that this is just, don't call it just. This is the training. As far as the times we are in is concerned, this is the best decision that you have made.
Malaika Institute serves as an opportunity, offering hands-on experience and practical training to empower individuals to fulfill their potential and make a positive impact on society. Sudat Kaye, UBC News.
Now, moving ahead, the manufacturing sector, as opposed to the arcade establishment, is a way to go for investors intending to do business in this country. Now, State Minister for Investment and Privatization, Evelyn Anite, says there is more returns to investment in the manufacturing than the arcades.
A few weeks ago, Minister Evelyn Anite toured and opened new warehouses in the Eastern District of Tororo. They were put up by Uganda Property Holdings to boost Uganda's warehousing system.
To have the nose to smell where they can make money, because it's a money-making business. So if that is an opportunity, they will definitely go there. Now they've seen an opportunity in building warehouses for manufacturing.
Consolidating such developments is one of the emphases that have been put forward.
Because years back we had a lot of problems, but over a period of time, because of good management and cooperation of the board, we have made ways forward. And I believe we shall even be better in the future.
This was pledged as Uganda Property Holdings held its annual general meeting in Kampala.
The demands from the shareholders are they want higher profits, and those higher profits come with increased investments. They want higher return on investment for these investments we are undertaking, and also to continue shining, because we have gotten a good report from the Auditor General. They don't want us to reduce or go slow on what we have been doing, but instead work harder for better results.
This commitment also calls for strategic investment in housing to avoid setting up ghost projects. This was emphasized with regard to empty spaces that befall shopping arcades due to lack of tenants.
Given that this is government money, we have to be strategic in all the investments we make. If you look at the arcades and the empty spaces you're talking about, we need to study the demand and the business environment so that all the projects we undertake, we get better return and we don't have ghost projects as a government entity.
We are not encouraging them to invest in residential houses anymore. That's where Uganda Property Holdings started. That's why we have residential buildings in London. We have some residential buildings in Mombasa. But we're moving away from there to having warehouses, because now that's the future. People want to do, they want to find where they can store cereals, where they can do value addition. They're looking for showrooms.
Minister Anite, who officiated at the annual general meeting, challenged investors to embrace manufacturing for quick returns.
Manufacturing, commercial agriculture, ICT, those are areas where you get quick return on investment and higher return on investment from the studies that we have undertaken.
Uganda Property Holdings was incorporated as a fully government-owned private company on 3rd November 1998. Henry Okrut, UBC.
Ebiseera by'okuzzaayo abaana mu masomero tebiteekwa kukaluubiriza n'akatono. Eno kusimba nnyiriri mpanvu, kano kalipagano ka bidduka. Simanyi kuzunga na banka siripsi? Kati osobola okusasula school fees z'omwana wo ate n'okola n'ebirala ntoko ku ssimu ye ey'omu ngalo. Ekikola kyangu nnyo. Nyiga bunyizi *165*8 ogoberera ebikulagiriddwa oba okozese app ya MTN Momo. Ate kati okola ki olwaleero? MTN Mobile Money Uganda Limited erungamizibwa banka enkulu eya Uganda.
And into sports, the Uganda Cricket Association has released a 15-woman squad for the upcoming T20 Women's Global Qualifier Tournament. Notable names in the newly promoted team include Captain Jane Mbabazi, Vice Captain Rita Musamali, Kevin Awino, Sarah Walaza, and Sarah Akiteng. The final 15 of the T20 Global Qualifiers has only one change, with Proskovia Alako making a return for Immaculate Nandera. The rest of the squad was part of the training tour to India at Omtex and the African Games in Ghana. Uganda is in Group A alongside Scotland, Thailand, USA, and Sri Lanka.
I'm a bowling all-rounder in the Victoria Park.
Well, that's all we had time for. Thank you so much for being a part of us. As we sign out, my name is Patricia. Lokoma Mpango Mgalo Mohammed has been with us on sign language. It has been a great time having you with us. It's a good night, but UBC TV continues with the programming.
Well, good evening. It is time now to look into the weather report for tonight. My name is Mollen Kenyana. Now, we have had rains across several places within the country today, and that is as we get into the first major rainy season here in the country. That is the March to May first rainy season. Looking at our satellite analysis for tonight, we have those moist northeasterly winds that are coming in towards the country. At the same time, we also have local effect, and also coupled with the position of the rain belt that is aligned over most places within the country. A combination of that is what is keeping us with mostly wet weather activities for most areas. Tomorrow in the morning, we will be starting off with rains across the Lake Victoria Basin and parts of Central. Similar weather is forecast, that is for the western part of the country. We're also likely to have those rains start off for the eastern part of Lake Victoria Basin, but much of eastern Uganda will start off with sunny intervals. The northern part of the country will likely to have a mix of clouds and sunshine. That will be across the Karamoja region and northern Uganda, central northern Uganda, but the Choga region will have rainy conditions. As we head into the afternoon, we're likely to have those rains maintained for the Lake Victoria Basin as well as parts of Central. We'll have a maximum of 28 that will be across Nakasongola, and the nation's capital, Kampala, we do expect temperatures at 27 degrees. Looking at the western half of the country, we'll have mostly rainy conditions also continuing over the area with mostly upper 20s as daytime highs. Looking at the eastern part of the country, we're also likely to have rains continue for the area. We're having Soroti at 30 degrees, quite warm weather over there. And crossing over onto the north, we'll have rains dominating for most of the areas. We'll have temperatures also going for 30, quite warm weather over there. And some of the cities that we have for you across the world, we are forecasting rainy conditions for Nairobi, quite chilly weather forecast over Nairobi at 25 degrees centigrade, sunny intervals for London, and a sunny day is forecast for Cairo as well as Dubai. Dubai will be at a warm 30 degrees. That brings us to the end of tonight's weather report. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Mollen Kenyana. Wishing you a good night.